Hey guys, welcome back to the AWS Cloud Demos. My name is Murli and I'm back with another video on the Terraform. So in today's demo, we will be accessing our S3 bucket using our EC2 instance. So we'll keep it simple for this video and we will make sure that EC2 must be able to access our S3 bucket list of files and stuff like that. So before we head to the demo, and please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Please don't forget to like this video and let's begin. Okay, so like every time we do, we will be creating our VPC. So in the previous demos, I have already created the VPC. So if you haven't watched those videos, please watch the Terraform series from the beginning so that you will understand how to create VPCs, how to create EC2 instances, and how to access the EBS volumes and etc. So in today's demo, we will be solely focusing on writing the IAM roles and accessing our S3 bucket using our EC2 instance. Okay, so for this, so I'm going to create a new file called vpc.tf, like we always do, which has the VPC infrastructure. So let me copy paste the EC2, the VPC infrastructure, and we will launch our EC2 instance inside the VPC. For this demo, if you want to keep it simple, I think you can ignore the VPC as well, but as a good practice, you should always be creating this to make sure that you launch the instances in a correct subnet, and if you want to take control of your underlying infrastructure. Okay, so here we have created our VPC subnets, and by the way, I'm launching in the availability zone US East 1A, 1B, 1C. So you have internet gateways, route tables, and all that stuff. So if you want the explanation of this VPC, just go ahead and watch the other video. Okay, so this is so that's how we create our VPC, and let's create our security group in order to allow the SSH access. So we're gonna be creating security group.tf. So in here we're gonna be creating AWS. So like we always do, tf resource security group, and that creates our security group like as you have seen here. So we are allowing TLS inbound traffic. Okay, we have our VPC main.id, which is coming from here. If you can see that VPC has a main, and there's some of the ingress rules are we will be allowing from anywhere. For example, let me just make a change here. I don't think you need a description here, or maybe the ingress. So let's allow the access from port 22 to the port 22, and that's TCP, and I'm going to be making sure that we have access from anywhere. Okay, so we will make sure that we should be able to access this from anywhere. Also, you can restrict to the IP address that or the CIDR blocks that you want. So for this, allow SSH. Okay, so I hope that ingress rules are clear, and the egress rules are, I think that looks fine. Allow to anywhere just for this demo. Okay, so don't worry much about egress rules for now, and the tags should be something pretty simple, or maybe you can say example instance. Okay, so this is how we're going to be creating our security group. Also, we can change the name to allow SSH. The description is going to be security group that allows SSH and all egress traffic. Okay, hope that makes sense. And yeah, that's pretty much how we're going to be creating our security group. Okay, now let's move on to our S3 bucket. Let's create a file s3.tf. Okay, so we're going to be creating our S3 bucket, tf AWS resource S3 bucket. All right, so that's how we're going to be creating our S3 bucket. So the bucket name, you can say something like my bucket. I'm going to copy paste a ID, UUID, or something like that. Remove the ACL rules from there, and this is going to be my bucket, and the name is going to be my bucket. All right, so that's fine. So this is the bucket where I'm going to be having access to from my EC2 instance. So I'm going to list all the contents from my S3 bucket, and for that we're going to be so we have now just created the S3 bucket. So now we're going to be using the provider because and you should tell Terraform that what is the provider that you're using. So in our case, it's nothing but our AWS. Region is going to be, let's create our variables in a moment, but for now this is the region that I want to use. And also let's create a key pair. So I'm gonna use tf resource AWS key pair, and the key name is gonna be my key pair, and the public key is gonna be, I'm gonna access a file dot part to public key. Okay, so we will generate the public key in a moment. So for now, this is how we're going to be creating our key pair for our EC2 instance. Okay, so with that, now let's head on to the EC2 instance. So I think we have already seen how we can create EC2 instance in our previous videos, but in this video I'm gonna show you again, which is instance.tf. So it's pretty simple to resource instance. There you go. So this is our EC2 instance, and we're gonna name this as example. Okay, and the AMIs and other stuff we will be creating it. So I think you can get rid of this data block. Okay, there you go. Now I've already created my EC2 instance in the previous video, so I'm just gonna copy paste that in order to save some time. Let me delete all that. So there you go. We're going to access our AWS region and VPCs, sorry, the AMIs and VPC security groups. So this is the security group that we have already created in the previous video. And the subnet, you can see AWS subnet main public one. This is the VPC subnet, and I'm going to be using an instance type of T2 micro. And the key name is obviously AWS key pair dot my key pair dot key name. All right, so that's our key name. Okay, so there's another thing that we have discussed here, is we wanted to you know, we wanted to create a role and attach a role to our EC2 instance, right? So how are you going to be attaching a role to the EC2 instance? So it's simple. First of all, you need to assume the EC2 role and then have access to the S3 bucket. Okay, so here I'm gonna have IAM instance profile. Okay, so that is the IAM instance profile for my EC2 instance. So now let's go ahead and create the role, IAM role that we want for this demo, and then attach the role to our IAM instance IAM profile so that it will be able to access our S3 bucket. Okay, so leave this here for now, and now let's go ahead and create another one, which is IAM.tf. Oops, I don't know why it was like that. Move. All right, now okay, close the other ones. Just to make it a bit cleaner. Hope this is saved. Yeah, that's fine. And IMTF. All right, so what we need here is we need an IAM role, an IAM policy. A policy needs to be attached to an IAM role, and finally the role is attached to a IAM instance profile. Okay, and then we will attach that to our EC2 instance. So I'll make it clear. So I have bits and pieces that I need to copy because I've created already to make it easy to understand. Okay, so basically we have created an IAM role, okay, which is nothing but my S3 my bucket role, okay, which is basically we are assuming that this is an we are allowing the EC2 instance. We're just assuming the role. Okay, so I hope you're clear about this and make sure you understand this properly before you go ahead and work on this demo. Okay, so basically we have a role, and now we need to create a IAM policy. Okay, so let's copy that again. um, so in here, so basically we have created an IAM policy, which is nothing but S3 my bucket role policy. This policy here you see, which has an effect allow to list bucket, and this is the bucket that I have created here in my S3 bucket. Okay, I am allowing the list bucket operation on this bucket, on this particular bucket. Okay, and also get object permission on this particular bucket. Okay, and the role is going to be my S3 my bucket. So this is the role that we are trying to attach this policy to this particular role. Right, so this is the policy we have created separately, this is the role we have created separately, and this is where we are trying to attach our IAM role to our um, IAM policy to our IAM role. Okay, so I hope this is clear, and we're simply allowing a list bucket on this particular bucket and get object on this bucket. All right, now once you have created the IAM role with the attached policy, now what we need to do is role IAM instance. Um, Let me create instance profile. All right, so it's nothing. Okay, so now let's create that AWS IAM instance profile. All right, and we're gonna name this something like S3 bucket role instance profile. Okay, so this is the name, and the name is gonna be S3 my bucket role. All right, and the role is nothing but the role that we have created here. Copy the role name, scroll to the bottom, and the role is going to be IAM AWS IAM role dot s3 my bucket role dot name. All right, so it's pretty simple. Okay, so this is the instance profile that we have, and that's the name. You're gonna copy that. Okay, now if you head back to the instance profile, and now we're going to be accessing that instance profile, which is nothing but instance profile dot s3 bucket s3 my bucket role instance profile dot name. All right, so that's how you will be attaching the instance profile instance role that you have created just here into our instance. Okay, so and this should allow the access to the S3 bucket that we have created here. All right, I hope this is clear. If you have any questions on this, just comment down in the comment section below so that I will be able to answer. But usually this is pretty easy to follow, and also we will generate the SSH keys. Also we will generate we will try and connect from the SSH using SSH. Okay, now that we have created our security groups S3, and we one more thing that we need to create is nothing but our variables. The one variable that we have created was AWS region. Default is gonna be US East 1. All right, and then another one is variable path to private key. mykey.pub. It's not pub, it's a private key. So just copy that again and paste it here, which is, this is the path to public key, which is nothing but our public key is .pub. And then you have AMIs that I already have the AMI, which is pretty easy for me to copy and paste just to save some time. All right, so that, there you go. So that's the AMI that I'm going to be using for this demo, which is US East 1, and this is the region that I'm trying to use. All right, and you can also mention the Terraform version if you want. So versions.tf. All right, so we have created our VPC, we have created our variables, we have created our security group, S3, we have created our provider. Also, you can try and create the output, which contains our EC2 instance public IP, so that we will be able to use it and connect using SSH. Output instance value is going to be AWS instance.example.public IP. Okay, so you will also get the public IP using the state show, that Terraform state show. You should be able to see the public IP there as well. Okay, that's it. And now I like to use the external terminal. Let's give it a minute. All right, I hope this is visible. Okay, now let's say Terraform init. So let's initialize this first, or maybe you can validate. Okay, so there's nothing in there. That's weird. Oh, I've been created outside, which is weird. Copy all that stuff and move it inside our EC2. All right, that's been moved. And now let's say ls, so I should be able to access it. Terraform init. So let's initialize the backend. There you go. We are able to initialize, and we will also validate configuration. Okay, looks like on line number 12 on instance.tf, key name mykey pair key name, this key pair has not been declared in the root module. Okay, let's go ahead and find out what's going on. So in an instance, that's mykey pair. Okay, maybe that's the reason. Validate, and also we'll try and find out the security group, which is I think wrong. Okay, this instance security group example instance.id. Go to instance.tf on line number 9 on example instance. So if you go to AWS security group, that's the reason why. Go to instance and copy that name example instance and paste it in the security group, and just remove the lftls and just paste it. Okay, you should be able to create or maybe initialize or maybe validate. So let me validate this again. Okay, so looks like our configuration is happy and working. Again, Terraform, if you want to format anything inside our EC2 S3 folder, so that should be able to format it if you think anything is weird. And also make sure that the naming and everything is perfect when you try to access this, because as you can see, it throws the reference errors. So if you want to make sure that that is working properly, you should always check the naming that you're trying to create. All right, so now we have initialized, and let's go ahead and do Terraform plan like we always do. So we will see what other resources that are going to be created. Okay, so looks like there is something wrong. What is that? On key.tf line number 3. So okay, so basically we are missing our our SSH key, right? So we're going to be creating a public and private keys. So how you create SSH key gen -f my key. All right, so that's going to create our public and private keys. And if you do ls, yeah, my key and my key public key. All right, so just clear this out and do Terraform plan. I hope this should show the list of resources that needs to be created in the AWS. So let's give it a moment and we will check what are the resources that we are trying to create. All right, so there are 19 to add. Okay, so this is our VPC, this is our subnet, this is our subnets, internet gateway, this is S3 my bucket S3 policy. This is the policy that we were talking about. This is the EC2 instance, and also my bucket. This is the instance profile that we are trying to create. All right, so that looks good. So come all the way to the bottom, just clear this out, do Terraform apply auto approve. All right, so now you should be able to apply the changes that you are trying to make to your AWS infrastructure. So let's give it a moment. And please don't forget to ask any questions in the comment section below, so that I will know if you're following or not. And if you're watching for the first time in this channel, please don't forget to subscribe, please don't forget to like this video, and please don't forget to share. Okay, looks like we have an error, which is bucket already exists. So let's go ahead and delete the bucket first of all, because I think I've used it in my previous video. So I've already logged into my AWS console. So if I scroll all the way to the bottom, just clear this bucket and permanently delete this bucket. Empty, exit, and if I scroll all the way to the bottom, just go ahead and delete the bucket, which will be created again. Just copy that, paste it, delete the bucket. All right, so now that you have deleted your bucket, go ahead, go back and try and do auto approve again. Apply the changes that we have just made. So I hope this should create our bucket and also link the access for our S3 bucket to our EC2 instance. So let's give it a minute. It's just refreshing the state. Awesome. So now that it has completed uh, creating the bucket, so this is the output. Remember, we have created the output.tf file, you can see here, and which is outputting the public IP of our EC2 instance, like you see here. Okay, this is the IP of our EC2 instance. So if you want to confirm, go back to the console. You have go to EC2, click on the instance which is running. Yeah, click on the instance like so, and this is the IP address that we have just outputted. Okay, so now just clear this out, and now let's try and connect to our EC2 instance. Okay, SSH -i, my key, that's my private key, and then use 12 @ that's my IP. Just remove the quotes around it. You don't need a quote, just hit enter. Yes, you can ignore that. There you go. So now that I have logged into my EC2 instance, okay, now let's see if I have access to my S3 bucket. Okay, AWS S3 ls. Okay, AWS is currently not installed. So how are we going to be installing it? Sudo apt. Let's run update first. Okay, so let's run the update. Sudo apt-get update. If you're coming from the Linux background, so you should be able to understand what is sudo apt-get update. And now try and copy this command, which is here, which will install our AWS CLI. And please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and please don't forget to leave a comment, and please don't forget to like the video. All right, and now that we have completed installing AWS CLI, just clear this out and type AWS S3 ls. Okay, so You got an error which is access denied when calling the list bucket operation, but you said you want to list S3 buckets, but actually we have given a permission to our S3 bucket itself, right? So this is our S3 bucket, so you should be able to um, run AWS S3 ls, oops, and you should run this command against your S3 bucket, right? So yeah, I think it ran successfully, but it did not list anything, right? So if you go ahead, go back and go to your S3 bucket, and if you scroll all the way to the bottom, go to the bucket, you can upload anything. Okay, you can upload anything, any file to it. Just create a folder, site folder name, Murli. All right, I'm not specifying any encryption keys right now. I'm just creating a folder. Amazing. So I've created a folder, and if you run the command again, it should list the folder. Yeah, so that's, there you go. So you have got the folder, and we have now given access to our EC2 instance to access our S3 bucket files, right? So whatever files that you created here, you got the list operation, list bucket access to it, and also get objects. So that's why you're able to get the objects from your S3 bucket. I hope this is clear, and I hope I'm just going to exit from my Ubuntu because we have performed what we need to do in this video. So if you, I hope you like this video, and I hope you subscribe to my channel, and please watch out for our next videos on our Terraform. I'm going to be uploading some videos, and now just you can destroy um, your infrastructure once you're done with your project. Okay, I will thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you.